on you, my future happiness depends.
Today's video is going to be a bit more about some products and some technology and stuff that I've got recently, more than anything else. And I'm off to get my eyes tested eventually. I've been meaning to do it for a long time, and now I'm actually going to get around to doing that today. Firstly, I'm just going to quick talk about one of the things I like before I go. One of the first things I want to talk about is hoodies. Now, I never used to wear hoodies at all. My brother bought me one a few years back, and it was really nice, thick, warm, so I thought I'd start wearing it. And then I bought this one. This one has got to be about at least 12 years old. I can know that by the fact that it was in a medium size, and that was when I was smoking. When I gave up smoking, everything else is either large or extra large. It's done very well. It's faded colour a bit, but really well made. I used to wear a lot of jumpers, things like that, but now you'll notice in all my videos I wear a lot of t-shirts, so I will wear these over them. So last year I went out and bought these two. They're slightly different materials from this older one, and they've added a bit more polyester stroke cotton mix. They're very nice, very comfortable to wear, very warm, like the colours. Leanne bought a red pullover one. That was really nice, that the pocket went all the way across the front. I've just recently been out to my local designer outlet with the drone, took a couple of pictures with the drone, and ended up buying these two. So, had to match my hair colour really. Now, Leanne also last year bought one when we went to London. She bought the white one with the zip up one with the lettering here was in sort of a flowery pattern. So he had a flowery pattern in the wording. That was really nice and very cute looking on Leanne. Leanne did wear these occasionally, but as I said, these are large. Leanne isn't. She's very small, and they looked absolutely massive on her. So on me they're quite a snug fit, whereas on her they were just like wearing tents. This isn't sponsored, I'm not getting paid for this, and this isn't an ad. The only reason I buy these, and the only reason I'm talking about them now, is because of the quality of them. These can sometimes be a little bit more expensive than some other hoodies that you get from supermarket chains, things like that. They're worth that little bit extra for the quality. They last, they're very well put together, and as I said, this one I'm wearing now, I've had this one for about 12 years and probably still keep going. It's just it's a slightly faded colour, but I'll still keep wearing it, I can still use it. So that's why you'll keep seeing them in the vlogs every now and then. And as an extra little tip, I also watched how the store folds them for storage. So, fold in. And you end up with a nice little bundle. So it's quite easy to put them in your cupboard. Well, that's the eye test done. Luckily, it's only reading glasses I need, and that's only for my right eye mainly. So I'm quite happy with that, to be fair. And I've also managed to go and pick up my pills. Not quite so late as normal, so I have got a few left. But as you know, I always manage to get right to the end before I end up going and getting them. Okay, so before I start the stuff that I've going for, I've already got another parcel turned up today, so it will add to the stuff I'm going to talk about. And this is what I expected it to be. My god. Wow. Okay, this is huge. It's another ice watch. It's a nice chrono watch. It's the first chrono one I've got. It's massive. That's enormous. Wow. I wasn't quite expecting it to be as big as that, but I love the colour, white and orange. Actually, it's not too bad. Actually, it's comfortable. It looks quite nice. Obviously, I'll do a review of this, as I always do. That rather neatly brings me on to the next few items that I've got recently, and they're all sort of watch related. Two of the things my mum got me for Christmas, so I didn't get a lot for Christmas this year, obviously, because it was only me, my mum, my brother. My mum got me a couple of watch cases, and these are really nice, actually. Got a little metal clip, glass lids, and so these are actually really nice for keeping watches in. Only watches isn't always just about the watch, you've got to do stuff to them. So it meant I recently bought a vice. This thing is invaluable. Basically, this thing allows me to work at a higher height, and I've also got other little mini vices that go in the top, so I can work higher on a watch and I can grip onto it, and this is just wonderful. This came from Aldi, which is the cheap retailer, as you know. Very cheap, it's only a £5, but it's really, really useful, and it's going to be invaluable to working away on watches, putting batteries in and stuff like that. As part of the reviews for the watches, I also use measuring tools. So I've got a scales, and I've also got a caliper. Problem with the caliper that I've had to measure widths, it's very indistinct to read the numbers because they're not printed very well on here. So something else Aldi were doing recently, again fairly cheap, was a digital caliper. This is a lot easier, and you can give me a much better readings on the sizes. So if we go for example the size of that rather large ice watch I've just got, 52.75, so it's 53, which is what ice called 53 millimeters wide, and that's their big or extra large. They do a bigger size than this. They do an extra large, which is 58, but this is the second one down from their largest size. Also, actually going back to the orange and white ice watch, I've just bought a orange camera, and I'll get to this in a sec and the reason for it. My videos for my watches I filmed on this old camcorder. It's 720. I take stills of the watches, which I sometimes use in the watch reviews, or I use mainly, I record the watches for my own purpose. I've got a record of them, and I also use it for insurance purposes. So I take pictures of the watches on this old Sony. Now this Sony I've had for quite a long time. I paid about £10 for it, probably 15 years ago or more. Tiny little screen, and it uses memory sticks, which is a pain. I also picked up out of the Lost and Found this little Polaroid thing, which was for keeping in the car. I had this for in case you had an accident or something like that, you could take a picture with it. Last year on eBay, I just saw a nice little camera, I like the look of it, a little Pentax. Again, this is the orange. Now this I bought initially for Leanne. This was going to be for her to get onto Instagram. I went on Instagram and I thought she was going on about it, so I wanted to get her a camera to go on Instagram. So I bought this for her on eBay. But unfortunately, when I got the camera, you can see there's actually a black blob on the screen. Now it doesn't affect the pictures, so the pictures come out alright. The problem is the black blob is over where your mode is, so you don't know what setting you're on because the black blob's covering it up. So realistically it wasn't really suitable for Leanne, and I was going to get her a different camera. Unfortunately that was not long before we stopped talking. I couldn't give it to Leanne because it wasn't working properly. This has become my car camera. I do my still photography mainly with the Pentax, which is this beast. This is the K7. This is a good camera, fantastic camera. It's expensive, so I don't want to ruin it, but it is waterproof and weather sealed. That's the good thing about these Pentax cameras. They're very, very good for that. The problem is you have to have the waterproof or weather sealed lenses, which I haven't got. I've only got the weather sealed body, not the lenses. So occasionally I might want to take pictures in rain or lightning pictures, things like that. I don't really want to get this wet, which is where this comes in. This I got cheaply at work. It was on special deal, so I got it very cheaply, to be honest. This is waterproof down to 8 meters, shockproof, snowproof, cold, wet, hot, all that sort of stuff. This is going to be very useful where the Pentax isn't. So I'm going to use this in water, underwater and stuff like that. Now I have got a GoPro for that. The GoPro, I got a cheap GoPro. This is a Hero 2. I got this off a mate at work. Cost me about 20 quid because it is super cheap, super old. It's okay. I've used it a few times for vlogs. It's got a housing. This one has to work in the housing. So again, it will go underwater and do all of those sort of things. Once it's out of the housing, there's no way of mounting it. So the mounting is only done purely in the housing itself, which is quite annoying. So that's where this thing will come into. This can do what the GoPro does in many respects. It's only filmed in 720 though, so it'll be more for stills, but it does have a time-lapse feature. So the time-lapse feature is going to be quite useful. I'll try that, and as I said, it's going to be shockproof and waterproof, and I will try and use this for the photos for the watches, see how they come out. Something else I always do with these things is, you notice you've got an LCD back. I always get the screen protectors and stick screen protectors over the back of these. Something else to add to the photography side of things, something really small actually, I bought a little torch recently. The reason for this, is light painting. Go to a car show once a month. I used to start going to it last year, and they had a little dog called Slinky. Actually, no, we went before, in 2016 actually. At the moment, they do them at 7 o'clock at night. Started to use this to see how the results come out. And so again, it's just a trial and error. I'm learning, but I'm quite happy with what this does actually. It's only a little bit of light, but the results aren't too bad. This is my pug pug picture. We bought this about a year ago, Leanne and myself, and we're both fans of pugs. I'm more a fan of pugs because of Leanne. Obviously I was a huge fan of hers, but we always planned to get a pug of our own when we moved in together. So I still love the idea, still love pugs, and of course very much love her, but it's never really worked that well. It's sort of supposed to light up, and it just hasn't really. So it's about time it needs fixing. This is a really technical bit. My love of pugs was also compounded by the fact that not just because of the love for Leanne, but also that I looked, well, not that I knew, but I looked last year on Facebook at a star chart if you was a dog, and that showed that Pisces is actually a pug, strange enough. Leanne is a West Highland Terrier, but anyway, jobbed. So that's much better, that's how it should be. I recently bought a bag for a couple of quid. I didn't have anything to put in it. I recently have something I've been after for a while to do my music production, which I haven't been doing for a while, to be honest. I need to get into one of these, DJ controller. I've been after one of these for ages. Managed to get one on the right price on the famous eBay, and this is going to assist me with my music, so I can remix stuff. I can make my own tracks, and then I'll be able to remix those tracks afterwards, which is going to be really helpful. But also I want to learn how to DJ properly. You know, it's not something I've ever really worked out before. I've been playing with the programs on the computer before, but I now want to know how it works and how you do it properly. So that's what this is going to help me with. So the usage in this software operation, this thing's just really easy and really nice to use. The deduced software is brilliant. The controller's got its own controllers to move up and down your tracks, to select tracks for your A and B loading. Plus you've got all your sliders and everything else. So it's actually quite a nice bit of kit to get used to. You've got your wheels. I really like the idea of this. It's just going to take a bit of practice to get used to it and how to work with it properly. But something I'm going to have a lot of fun with, I think.